לעצור רצונך בלבב שלם. כמו שידענו עלינו, שנשיר טוב לפניך עוז בידך, וגבורה בימינך, ושמך נורא על כל שבראת. ובכן תן כבוד לאדוני אלוהיך, תהילה ליראך, ותקבע לדורשך, ותתחום פן למייחלים לך, שמחה לארצך, וששון ליראך, וצמיחת קרן לדוד עבדך, ויחנה לבן אישה משיחך, במהרה בימינו. ובכן שריקים יראו וישמחו, וישרים יעלוזו, וחסידים ברינה יגידו, ועולתה תצפיח, וכל הרישה כולה כאשם תכלה, כי תעביר ממשלת זדון מן הארץ. We continue in our prayer book. You provide shalom for the world, page 152. 152. You provide shalom to the whole entire world. You bless us with grace, loving kindness, and compassion. You bless us all simultaneously, loving parent, with the light of your face, your presence. For when we are in your presence, we can sense all the gifts that you give us. A Torah of life, boundless love, loving kindness, a passion for justice, a sense of being blessed, compassion for others, a thirst for the fullness of life and shalom, a sense of serenity, wholeness, and peace. You bless your people Israel and all who dwell on earth at all times, at every moment of our lives, with all of these gifts. I invite Frankie up to accompany me as we all sing together. We're going to break out a musical instrument on Rosh Hashanah. I can't hear ya. I made that song. And what better way to end Shachrit service than with a song of peace? Ose shalom bibromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Yes, ma'am. Ose shalom bibromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Get ready. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol v'imru. You may close the mic this time. Before we get into Torah service, we have some things to talk about. I had a very interesting sermon last night on the specialness of what the holiday is. I told a wonderful story about a glass with pebbles and rocks and sand and even a cup of coffee. And I even told you what it's like getting older and turning 65. Today, we're going to focus on two words. And these two words, I think, really sum it up. When I find people that are troubled, it is because they feel that what they have to face in life at different times is insurmountable. And it could be a cumulative effort of things at work, or the relationship, or children, or disaster, or whatever it may be. And it's very, very difficult to find your way. However, there are two words that I think really sum up what is going to make a difference in your life. One word is gratitude. The other word is humility. Now, I don't know how you feel about these two words, but if you have gratitude, you will have humility. Because gratitude is being thankful for everything that you have and everything that you hope to be able to have. And even if you don't get what you hope to be able to have, you still have gratitude. Why? Because you're giving everything, not that you want, but you're giving everything that you need. Let me say this again. This is about God's plan. God's plan isn't a Mick Jagger song that you can't always get what you want. Well, that's true. But in the essence, you will always, from God, get what you need. So let us begin. Gratitude. What a magnificent word gratitude is. What resounding effects that it can have on your life and on your soul. The definition of gratitude is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. There is a definite science on what happens physically and metaphysically for the one who practices gratitude daily. Blood pressure, the heart, and nervous system are all affected to one degree or another when we practice gratitude. Let me repeat that because I found that out and I thought that was most interesting. Blood pressure, the heart, and nervous system are all affected to one degree or another if we practice more gratitude. Metaphysically, the spark of the divine, or our souls, rise to a higher vibration rate. Our level of consciousness is raised accordingly. Our experience of the physical world is increased and multiplied by our new state of this gratitude. It is easy to be thankful or have gratitude when our lives on the physical plane are going well. So the question is this: when things are not going well with our jobs, our marriages, children, friends, how can we still find this word gratitude? A concept that is hard to grasp is the one which states everything happens for a reason and that there are no mistakes. Certainly, each and every one of us can pick apart from this view of tragedy or untimely loss, yet many masters of the East and West teach this to be just so. Our souls decide when and where we come in, as well as when and where to depart. A troubling statement of faith is to be tested. It is when life doesn't work out that we need gratitude the most. Again, it is when life doesn't work out that we need gratitude the most. If everything in the universe does not happen for a reason, it begs us to discuss the hidden opportunity of seeking the truth and seeing the illusion. How can we be thankful for losing a loved one or even losing a job? What hidden opportunity of clarity or gratefulness can possibly be found? I realize it is difficult to wrap our heads around these statements, yet they are truths that sometimes present possibilities. To see the sun rise or set, to see the clouds or stars in the sky reminds us all of our place among each and every one of them. Every day, we should pursue a grateful heart. A life filled with gratitude allows us a higher level of consciousness and vibration. It is all along what was intended for us to do and to be. A grateful life is a life that's worth living. And on humility. The ego is the center of the self. Our self-image determines the degree of that self. How does humility enter the self? And what does it give to our beings? Our egos can certainly be beneficial, but it can also be one of our greatest enemies. When the ego takes over, humility takes a back seat. Oftentimes, when our ego backfires, we are forced to examine our sense of self, and we discover the true meaning of the word humility. Humility gives us balance with the ego. When we are humble, we get out of ourselves and focus more on others. This is often described as better to give than to receive. We often act like children, wanting what we want and wanting it now. Our selfishness and materialistic needs are at odds with our humility. We need to listen more and talk less. We need to care more about others than ourselves. Only then can we acknowledge that we are all connected. This is a bold step into the world of humility. Humbleness is defined as a moderate or low view of one's own importance. Yet, society emphasizes winning, climbing to the top, acquiring more finances. We need to care more about others than necessarily ourselves. Some people decide to go into a given profession simply for the pay that this profession is afforded. The ego gets fed more and more as we acquire more fame, fortune, and expensive materials. How humble is the individual going to become when the ego is constantly stroked? Once this happens, ladies and gentlemen, humility is thrown out of the window. In life, We are going to fail, but we are also going to succeed. It is the process of our failures that we grow with humility. We learn that life can be an excellent teacher. As we mature, we begin to understand the true meaning of this word, humility. We constantly learn from our successes and also from our failures. The question is, do we learn from failures, and what do we learn from them? Failures seem to put our egos in their proper space. In the Bible, in the Torah, Moses was considered a man who walked with humility. He never felt that he was up to the task that God had given him. He even argued with God, telling God to choose someone else. Moses now understood the meaning of God's plan. God gives us all many tasks, ladies and gentlemen. It's us and our ability to show up and finally become a partner to God for once and for all. L'Shana Tova. And now we have a Torah service. So we're going to need two people to be able to help carry the Torah around, and I'm sure we'll take care of that. And our Torah readers are here today. So let us all turn on page 204. Page 204. Ve'in k'mafali Adonai, ve'in k'masecha, malchuta k'malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'kol dor v'dor, Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch, leolam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitem, Adonai yevarech en amo b'shalom, Barachamim eitiv al birtzoncha et Zion, Tibnei chomot Yerushalayim, Ki b'chaleva batachnu, Melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim. We all rise. Vayivin so Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Ve'avutzu oivecha, Ve'anusu mesanecha, Mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, U'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. Usually at this point, if it wasn't Shabbat, we'd follow this one, Adonai, Adonai, or Racham V'chanun, followed by Ba'ani Tefilati. So instead of chanting the Ivrit, the Hebrew, I shall just read the English. Adonai, Adonai, God of compassion and grace, slow to anger, abundant in mercy and truth. You credit good deeds for thousands of generations. You forgive us when we sin unwittingly or unintentionally, or by missing the mark, and you clean us. At this opportune time, Adonai, please receive all of our prayers with great loving kindness as you respond with true assistance. Page 206, Be'ana Rachitz. Be'ana Rachitz, Belishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anai Martus Bekan, Beyanarafit, Beyanarafit, Belishme Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anai Martus Bekan, Yehavavakadama, Ketita Rivi, Horata, Betashim Vishalim, Delivi, Batekol Amat Yisrael, Letah Ulachayim, Stay up here with you. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Repeat. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu. Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Knorah Shemo, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Knorah Shemo, Gadol Adonai, Onerom Shemo Yachdav. Let's walk around, have everybody touch. Lechol Adonai Agedola. Be'agedura, be'atikeret, be'hanetzach, be'achod. Ki yechov hashamayim u'ba'aretz, ki yechov hashamayim u'ba'aretz. Lechol Adonai amalcha, be'avid na'aseh lechol erosh. Romnenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishetachavu, le'adon raglov kadoshu. Romnenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishetachavu. Stand there, Ve'ishetachavu, le'ad kosho ki kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu. You may be seated. Why don't we put that Torah straight up and down and put it on that bench right over there? All right? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. This is an interesting grab in this Torah. Okay. But people chant from the Torah in many synagogues. People utilize this time to be able to go to the restroom. What else is new? I think it's interesting because what I'm going to do, I've done before, and it was really, really appreciated. So we're going to read the English quickly to each of the Torah readings that we're going to be doing. And we're going to do this all together so that when they chant from the Torah, when I begin, or when Avi or when Lee begins, we can understand a little bit about what they're reading. This isn't Hebrew gibberish. Even though we may not understand the language, we can certainly understand the English, and we can understand the intent, the keva, and the kavanah that it is all about. So before I chant and call the first aliyah up, let us all turn to page 209. Page 209. Now this is interesting because today is Shabbat. So when we read from the Torah during the week, on Shabbos Mincha, Monday and Thursday, how many Torah readings are there? Shalosh. On regular Rosh Hashanah, how many aliyot are there? Well, if it wasn't Shabbat, there'd be 5. On Yom Kippur, how many Torah readings are available? On Yom Kippur, we have 6. But on Shabbat, we always have 7. Now, why is it that Shabbat, which some people say that's not anywhere near as important as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but yet, when you see the 10 Commandments, what does it say about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? Not much. What does it say about Shabbat? Keep the Sabbath day and make it holy. Shabbat is probably the most important day of the entire week. And Shabbat should be revered and understood in its place. Today is a wonderful day to be able to celebrate Rosh Hashanah because we are unencumbered. We have no work. We have nothing to do. We can understand the blessings of Shabbat, and we can also understand the solemnity of what we're trying to do here, to change our lives for the better, to take a look at our lives on the things that we need to improve upon. Let us all look on page 209, and we're going to read the first Torah reading together before I call the first Kohen up. Adonai remembered Sarah as promised. Let's all read together. Adonai remembered Sarah as promised, and Adonai did for Sarah what Adonai said. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age. Within that very year, as God had promised him, Abraham named the son that he born to him, that Sarah had born for him, Yitzchak. And Abraham circumcised his son Yitzchak when he was 8 days old, as Adonai had commanded him. Who is going to be able to be here? Frankie, would you help me, or Danielle, would you help me to get all the different aliyah? Who has the first aliyah? You? Maybe?
Anybody? Do I need a tallit?
No, you can use mine. Yazor, Dekeno Hoshimo, Hosimo, Benamar, Amen, Akol, Abu Zedele, Henugutun, Chabola Torah, Ta'amod, Dina Serabat, Shoshana V'Yaso, Rishon HaKohen, Baruch Shadani Groe, Bidu Shato, V'atem B'Blehechem, Chaim Kuchem Hayom. Okay. Oh, I see.
Baruch hu atah Adonai habarah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leil Moed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamid v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Notice that the trope in the high holidays is quite different than any other trope during the year. It is different than regular Torah trope. It is certainly different than Haftorah. It's different than Megillah of Esther, Ecclesiastes, Shir HaShirim. It has its own style and its own continent. Can you hold this open just like this? Amen. Adonai, paket tzara kasher amar bayas Adonai, letzara kasher diber, badar batel tzara l'Avraham, ein niskunav lemoed asher diber to Elohim. Like Abraham, Echimbedo, Hanulatlo, Asher Yadalo, Sarah Yitzchak, Bemol Abraham, Yitzchak, Beno, Ben Shmonat, Yamim, Kasher, Sivato, Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayim alon atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Shkoach, Mazal Tov. Who would like to take the second Aliyah?
Ilan, do you want to take the second? Okay.
You got the, you're Maftir, right? You're Haftorah.
After.
Haftorah, you're Maftir. Yes, yes.
Let's see, who wants to take the second Aliyah?
I'll help these two couple out. Yeah, I will. Go ahead. Boom. Turn to the page. I'll do it with you.
All right. See, he's got some good. He's ready to go. Yeah.
I'll do this together, okay?
All right.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Repeat that line.
Baruch
Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Okay, go ahead. Sit down for a second. I'll give you a second. Before we read, let us all turn on your book to page 209 and look at verse 5 with the words Abraham was 100 years old before I read it. Let's read together. Abraham was 100 years old when Yitzchak, his son, was born to him. Sarah said, God has played a joke on me. All who hear will laugh at me. Yitzchakli. And she said, who will have thought of Abraham, that I, Sarah, would be nursing a child, that I would bear him a child in his old age. The child grew and was weaned. Abraham made a big feast on the day that Yitzchak was weaned. We begin with the Torah reading of Abraham ben Yashanah. Amen. Amen. Abraham ben Yashanah bibaled lo Yitzchak beno. ותום שרה שחוק, עשה לי אלוהים, כל השומע יצחק לי. ותום מליל אברהם, הקינה בנים שרה, כי ילדתי בן דיסקוניו. ויגדל הילד ביגמל, ויעש אברהם משתה גדול, ויום הגמל את יצחק. Okay, come back here. Stand up. All right, then we go back to that other page. Okay, all right. Boom, boom, boom. And we go through here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet b'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. You're the fifth Torah? Glory. All right, close. Who's the third? You're the third? Tov. Very good. Before we begin reading, let us all read the English to the third Torah reading. Isn't this a good idea?
Yes.
To see what we're reading and to see the context of it. So what have we learned so far? Don't be shy. What have we learned so far? Abraham's an old guy, right? And his wife isn't too young either. But by incredible coincidence and miracle, she gets pregnant at her old age. And she has a son, and they name him Yitzchak. Yitzchak would come from the word to laugh. Because when she was told by the angel that she was going to have a child, she said, there's no way possible that I could have a child. But yet, look what happens. She has a child. So this we've learned so far. We also learned that Yitzchak was weaned, and on the 8th day, he was circumcised, because that is crucial to what we have to do in Judaism for all of the males. It is a sign, it's a brit, it's a covenant for us. Let us read the third Torah reading in English, beginning with the word Sarah. Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, that she had borne for Abraham, making sport, mitzachet. She said to Abraham, drive away this servant and her son, for the child of the servant will not inherit with my son, with Yitzchak. This demand had troubled Abraham very much, because this was his son. Turn the page. But God said to him, don't be troubled about your son and your maidservant. Whatever Sarah tells you, obey what she says, for your lineage will be through Yitzchak. All right. So we have to begin. Okay. Shoot. You got it.
Baruch Adonai Baruch
Baruch Baruch Lelam Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Lelam Baruch
So far, so good.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atan lanu et torato Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vatara Sarai ben Hagar HaMitzri Asher yada leAvraham etzapei Vatomer Avraham garesh ima hazot ואת בניו כי לא יירש בנעמה הזאת עם בני יצחק וירא הדבר להיות בני אברהם הולדות בנות ויאמר אלוהים אל אברהם הירא בניך אמר וילמדך כל אשר תאמר לך שרה שמע בקולה כי ביצחק יקרא לך זרע.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We invite you up to be able to chant the next two Torah readings, number 4 and number 5. Thank you so much. Okay, that's your name? All right, so you're going to have the India too, correct?
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so let's continue to move on. We're on page 210, and I'll show you exactly where we are, okay? All right. Let us read for the words, but I will also. Together, but I will also make the son of your maidservant a nation, for he too is your child. And Abraham rose early in the morning, gave food and a container of water to Hagar and her son. He put them on her shoulder and sent her away. She went to the desert of Beersheba and lost her way. When the water ran out, she put the child away under one of the shrubs. She left and sat down at a distance, as far as an arrow flies, so that, as she said, I won't see my child die. She sat down some distance away, and she raised her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy. And the angel of God called out to Hagar from the heavens and said to her, what's the matter, Hagar? Don't be afraid, for God has heard the boy crying over there. Tamod later only bat Michael a bit. Mehira Lalia. Yeah, you have got it. Okay.
Baruch hu Adonai
Baruch Adonai Baruch
Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'gamet ben ha'ama legoy asimenu ki zarachahu. Vayashkem Abraham baboker vayikach lechem v'chemad mayim vayitein al hagar sam al shichma v'et hayaled v'hishalcheha v'telech v'tetach Bamidbar Beersheba, Vayichlu hamayim min hachemet, v'tashlech et hayeled tachat achad hasichim, v'telech v'teshev la mineged harchek, kim tachavei keshet, ki amra al ar'eb motayaled, V'tashem mineged, v'tisa ekola v'teich, v'yishma Elohim et kol hanar, v'yikra malach Elohim al hagar min hashemayim, v'yomer la malach hagar, al tir'i ki shama Elohim al kol hanar ba'asher hu sham.
Outstanding. Yeshkoach. Yeshkoach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now we're up to the third aliyah. What have we learned? We've learned so far about Hagar and the child. And she was so afraid that the child would die, she couldn't even see, so she put the child to the side. That's what we've learned. But we've also learned that God did not forget Hagar. He did not forget Ishmael. And now we're going to find out a little more about that as we read together. For number 5, with the words at the bottom of the page, 210, get up and retrieve the boy. Let's read together. Get up and retrieve the boy. Take him with your hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the container with water and gave water to the boy. God was with the boy, and he grew. He lived in the desert and became a hunter. He lived in the desert of Paran, and his mother took him a wife from the land of Mitzrayim. Okay? The fifth aliyah. Tamod. What's your Hebrew name? Nechama bat Abraham v'Sarah. L'aliyah chamishi. Kumi.
Baruch atah Hamara.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Kumi sehi atanar v'hachaziki at yazet bo. Ki legoy gadol asimenu. Vayikach Elohim et einecha v'teref ba'er mayim v'telach vat malei et hachem ad mayim Batashk et hanar, vayehi Elohim et hanar vayigdal, vayeshev bamidbar, vayehi rovei kashat, vayeshev bamidbar paran, vatikach lo imo, yishamei eretz Mitzrayim.
Yasha Koach. Beautifully Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayolam natan b'kotenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We call Avi up to finish it up with Torah reading number 6 and Torah reading number 7. Let us all read together with us. For number 6 at the page, we're going to read on page 211, beginning at the verse 22 at the top of the page. And it was at that time that Abimelech, accompanied by Bechol, commander of his troops, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything that you do. Swear now by your God that you will not deal falsely with me, my children, my grandchildren, that as I have dealt kindly with you, so will you deal kindly with me, with the land in which you lived. And Abraham responded, I do swear. All right. Who is the next Aliyah that we have?
Howard, do you want to take this one?
Baruch atah Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu es Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay. God. So, get the side open. Take it.
ויהי בעת ההיא, ויאמר אבימלך בפיחות צבאו אל אברהם לאמור, אלוהים עמך בכל אשר אתה עושה, ואתה אשבע לי באלוהים, הנה אם תשקר לי ולניני ולנכדי כחסד אשר עשיתי עמך, תעשה עמדי ועם הארץ אשר גרת בה. ויאמר אברהם, אנוכי אשבע, והוכח אברהם את אבימלך על אודות באר המים אשר גזלו עבדי אבימלך. ויאמר אבימלך, לא ידעתי מי עשה את הדבר הזה, וגם אתה לא הגעת לי, וגם אנוכי לא שמעתי, בלתי היום ויקזז אברהם צאן ובקר, ויתן לאבימלך
ויחלק את שניהם ברית. Touch berry. Down, please. I'm sorry. Take it down. Very good. We'll finish it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah zemet v'keinu olam nata v'keinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yeshkoach. Beautiful Torah reading, by the way. And we're ready for number 7. Who can take number 7?
Well, I will do another one.
You want to do another one?
Yep.
All righty.
Baruch atah Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamid v'natan lanu et Torato Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now, before we do this, let us read the ending starting on line 25. Then Abraham chastised Abimelech about the well of water that the servants of Abimelech had stolen from him. Abimelech said, I do not know who did this to you, and you did not tell me about it. This is the first time that I heard of it. Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a solemn pact of peace. All right.
ויעצב אברהם את 7 כבשת הצאן לבדיהן, ויאמר אבימלך אל אברהם, מה הנה 7 כבשת האלה אשר הצבת לבדנה, ויאמר כי את 7 כבשת תקזז בידי, בעבור תהיה לי לעדה, כי חפרתי את הבאר הזאת, על כן קרא למקום ההוא באר שבע, כי שם נשבעו שניהם, ויחרטו ברית בבאר שבע, ויקם אבימלך ופיחול שר צבאו, וישבו אל ארץ פלישתים, והייתה אשל בבאר שבע, ויקרא שם בשם אדוני אל עולם, ויגר אברהם בארץ פלישתים ימים
ימים רבים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan v'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Give us 1 minute to be able to tie this up. This is what I would call a super tie. His head, please. All right. 3 times. Gotta cut this down. Let's get the curve of this, which is this is yeah, right there. Signature on the curve. We all rise. בסוד התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל אבי אדוני ויעקב אשר. You may be seated. There we go. Now we're going to get ready for the Maftir ordering with the Haftarah. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Are we doing Mishabera?
We're going to. This is not rolled to the right place. All right.
בחודש השביעי.
Yeah, I know I have to, yeah, it's
Okay.
way out of there. All right, let me, let's see where we are. Hold on for 1 second, let me just check. Way to the end. For a second.
I got it right here.
No, I want a chumash.
Oh,
Chumash, yeah. 1 second. Give me this chumash.
no, any one of those Googles. There you go.
Yeah. Back. Double check. Nassau right there. Keep going. Getting close. Yep. Good morning. Well, at least this will be wrong for Yom Kippur, that's all I can say. Keep going. No, keep going. Closer. More. Hold on down. So we have.
Right there.
Got it. All right, finally. All right. Sorry for the delay. All right. So we are ready for you, sir. All right. So you're going to put it here. Here's the Rosh Hashanah.
ברכו את אדוני אברהם.
ברוך נברכנו בהם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהים בכל העם אשר בחר בנו כל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Maftir, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no work. You shall have a day of truah. You shall bring a sweet-smelling burnt offering to Adonai, 1 ox, 1 ram, and 7 unblemished year-long he lambs. Bring also a meal offering, soaked in oil to accompany this, 3 measures for the ox, 2 for the ram, 1 measure for each of the 7 lambs. And bring as a sin offering a he-goat for atonement. This is besides the offering of the new month and its meal offering, the daily burnt offering and its meal offering, and the prescribed libations, all for a sweet-smelling offering by fire to Adonai. Since we do not do sacrifices anymore, what do we do in place of the sacrifices? Well, when the second temple was destroyed, the rabbis all got together and the people were very clamored and didn't know how to serve God. That's when the rabbi introduced, we have to introduce something that is more personal, something that will strike each and every individual. So prayer was granted within the rabbinical of the Sanhedrin. The observation is that prayer will copy the sacrifices. Even though we don't do the sacrifices anymore because we did not have a second temple, prayer was the answer. Prayer was the way that we could do the sacrifices without actually doing the sacrifices. And now the Maftir Torah reading.
Are you going to? No, go ahead.
Amen. ובחודש השביעי באחד החודש מקרא קודש יהיה לכם כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו יום תרועה יהיה לכם ועשיתם עולה לריח ניחוח לאדוני פר במקור אחד יהיה אחד כבשים בראשונה 7 ימים ומנחתם סולת גדולה בשמן 3 עשרונים לפר 2 עשרונים לעיל יסרון אחד לכבש אחד לשבעת הכבשים ושעיר עזים אחד חטאת לכפר עליכם מלבד עולה לחודש ומנחתה ולדתם נידו מנחתה ונזכיהם כמשפטם לריח ניחוח אישי לאדוני.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. You're my guy. I need you. I need you on the thing.
Short height.
Yeah.
It's not words.
There you go. It has to go the other way. There we go.
Thank you so much.
The page of the Haftorah is found. Is that the page?
Yeah, that's 230.
On page 213. Page 213, please follow along.
I don't think 213. That was 226.
226.
We don't have star. That's less. It's the total.
Yep, 226.
The blessing before, 224 is where the blessings are. Mhm. Okay?
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ומשה עבדו, ובישראל עמו, ובאמת והצדק.
$226.
26.
ויהי איש אחד.
ויהי איש אחד מן הרמתיים צופים מהר אפרים ושמו אלקנה בן ירבחם בן אליהו בן תחו בן צוף אפרתי ולו שתי נשים שם אחת חנה ושם השני פנינה ויהי לפנינה ילדים ולחנה אין ילדים ועלה האיש ההוא מירו מימים ימימה להשתחוות ולזבוח לאדוני צבאות בשילה ושם שני בני אלעלי חופני ופנחס כהנים לאדוני ויהי היום ויזבח אלקנה ונתן לפנינה אשתו ולכל בניה ובנותיה מנות ולחנה ייתן מנה אחת אפיים כי את חנה אהב ואדוני סגר רחמה וכעסתה צרתה גם כעס בעבור רעימה כי סגר אדוני ועד רחמה וכן יעשה שנה בשנה מדי אותה בבית אדוני כי תכעסנה ותבכה ולא תאכל ויאמר לה אלקנה אישה חנה למה תבכי ולמה לא תאכלי ולמה ירע לבבך הלא אנוכי טוב לך מ10 בנים ותקם חנה אחרי אוכלה בשילה ואחרי שעתו ועלי הכהן יושב על הכיסא על מזוזת היכל אדוני והיא מרת נפש ותתפלל על אדוני ופחות תבכה ותיתון עדר ותאמר אדוני צבאות אם ראות תראה בעוני אמתך וזכרתני לא תשכח את אמתך ותטל אמתך זרע נשים ותטיב לאדוני כל ימי חייו ומורה לא יעלה על ראשו והיה כי בטל להתפלל לפני אדוני ואני שומר את פיה וחנה היא מדברת על ליבה רק שפתיה נאות וקולו לא יישמע ואשביה לי לשיכורה ויאמר אליה לי עד מתי תשכרים אסירים את ינך מעלייך ותען חנה ותאמר לא אדוני אישה כשת רוח אנוכי ויין שכר לא שתיתי ואספור את נפשי לפני אדוני ותיתן את אמתך לפני בליעל כי מרוב שיחי וכעסי דיברתי עדנה ויענה לי ויאמר לכי לשלום ולא ישראל ייתן לך את שלתך אשר שר מעמו ותאמר תמצא שמחתך אחרי בניך ותלך אישה לדרכה ותאכל ופניה לא היו לעוד וישכימו בבוקר וישתחוו לפני אדוני וישובו ויבואו אל ביתם הרמתה וידע אלקנה את חנה אשתו ויזכריה אדוני ויהי לתקופת הימים ותרת חנה ותלד בן ותקרא את שמו שמואל כי מאדוני שאלתיו ויעל האיש אלקנה בכל ביתו לשמוח לאדוני את זבח הימים ואת נדרו, וחנה לו אתה. כי אמרה לאישה, ותיגמר לנער בביתיו, ונראה אדוני, ונראה את פני אדוני, וישב שם עד עולם, ויאמר לה אלקנה, אישה עשייתו בעינייך, שביעת גמלך אותו, אך יקם אדוני דברו, ותשב האישה ותנק את בנה, עד גמלה אותו, ותעלה עמה, כאשר גמלתהו בפרים 3 ואפה 1, קמח ונעבר יין, ותביאו בית אדוני שילה והנער נער, וישחטו את הפר, והביאו את הנער אל עלי, ותאמר כי אדוני חן נפשך אדוני. אני האישה הניצבת עמך בזה להתפלל אל אדוני, אל הנער הזה התפללתי, ויתן אדוני לי את שאלתי אשר שאלתי מבו. וגם אנוכי שאלתיהו לאדוני כל עמים אשר היה ושאול לאדוני וישתחוו שם לאדוני, ותאמר חנה ותאמר עלת ליבי באדוני, רמה קרני באדוני, אכפתי על אויבי, כי שמחתי בשבועתך, אין קדוש כאדוני, כפרותיך ויצור כאלוהינו, אל תרבו תדברו גבוה גבוה. יצא אתה כבכם ילדות אדוני, ולא נתקנו עלילותיו, קשת גבורים חיטים, ושלים עשו חיל, נשואים בלחם נזכרו, ערבים חטאלו, עטרה ילדה שיבה, ורבנים אומללה, אדוני ממיתו חיי, מוריד שאול ועל, אדוני מוריש ומעשיר, משפיל עבורם, מקים מעפר דל, מעשרות ערים אביון, לא 70 נתיבו, וכיסא כבודם כליהם, כי לאדוני מצקי ארץ וישת עליהם תבל, רגלי חסידה לשמור, ושעים בחושך ידענו, כי לא בכוח כבר יש, אדוני יחתהו מריבו, עלו בשמיים ירם, אדוני ידי נפשי הארץ, ויתן עוז למלכו, וירם קרן למשיחו.
יישר כוח.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם צור כל העולמים צדיק כל הדורות הנאמן האל הנאמן האומר ועושה ומקיים המדבר ומקיים שכל דבר האמת בצדק ונאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ונאמנים זכר דברך מדברך אכול לא ישוב וקם כי כל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבר אמן ציון כיפת חיינו ולא נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו ברוך אתה אדוני משמח ציון בבניה שמחנו אדוני לנו בעניין אבי עבדך ומלכו בידיו משיחך במהרה יבוא ויקל ליבנו על כיסאו לא ישב שר ולא יאכלו עוד אחרים את כבודו כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו שלא יפנהו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועד יום השבת הזה ועל יום הזיכרון הזה הכיפורים הזה נתן לנו אדוני לנו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת על כל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתפרש שמך בקולך תעמידים לנו לעולם ועד ודבריך אמת וקיים לך ברוך אתה אדוני מלך כל הארץ מקדש שבת ישראל ביום הזיכרון.
This was beautiful. Very good.
Frankie, we're going to need you in a second. So at least now we have a better idea of what was just said and the story that is an ongoing story. It's interesting. Does anybody have an answer to why on Simchat Torah we finished the last of the Torah, B'Zorah Bracha, and immediately go into Bereshit, Bara Elohim? Why do we do that? Why don't we just make it, and then next week we'll read from Bereshit. Why do we go directly into that?
Because we're impatient.
Yes, we are impatient. I like that. I like that. I'm going to use that next year. All right.
You've been nice with me.
Thank you, sir. Judaism is spherical. Like God's presence is spherical. There's no beginning, there's no middle, and there's no end. We go from the end right into the beginning, from the beginning right to the middle, from the middle to the end, and from the end to the beginning. An ongoing cycle of a circle. An ongoing cycle of being able to understand. Now, this cycle in Judaism is what we have in the cycle of life. And the cycle of life is what we're talking about right now. We have many people that are not physically doing well, that are not mentally doing well. And we want to pray for them. We want them to get well. We want them to feel good. We want God's presence to be able to dwell on them. So before we sing the Debbie Friedman Mishaberach, beautiful composition, may the one who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, continue to bless all of those who have come up to God for an Aliyah. Thank you, O God. May the Holy One continue to bring success and blessings to all those and to our entire people, and a traditional blessing for healing. May the one who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, please send a speedy and complete recovery of body, a recovery of spirit, together with all those who are ill. We're not supposed to make such requests on Shabbat, but we're eager for this person to recover. May this happen soon, to which we now say, Amen. Let us all sing the Mishaberach prayer.
Found on page 222, the right-hand side, the second to last paragraph.
The source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to live our lives of blessing, and let us sing Amen. Bless those in need of healing with renewal Hashrema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing Amen. So let us think of those who are now suffering. We're suffering from a physical disease, from a mental disease. Let us all praise that God will help them and strengthen them in the new coming year from this Rosh Hashanah day and forward on. Thank you, Frankie, so much. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 222 before we bring the Torah back into the Aron HaKodesh. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah Yalma divrach erutei ve'yamlich mahotei v'chayechon u'biyomechon u'chayedechon Beit Yisrael v'galav b'zman kariv v'yimelu amen yehishmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olam ve'almaya Yitbarach, Yitbarach, ve'yishtabach, יתפעל ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה,